All right, all right, all right. You all know why we're here and what we came to do this year. This is only the beginning of a very long season, but Game 1 means just as much as Game 82. Now, we have some new faces here that I really expect to make an impact for us this season. We've already seen flashes of what they can do for us, but I expect all of you to go out there and execute just like we did in camp. Ain't no more excuses. It's time to get serious. If we play our brand of basketball, there's no telling where this team can go. So get out there, get warm, and let's go win this game.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, joined by my partners, Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg. The fans here in Detroit ready to cheer on their Pistons in this interconference matchup. This their first chance this season playing the Jazz. They lost both of the matchups in this interconference battle a season ago. They'd like to change that now.
And in their two matchups last season, they came up empty both times. Not really too shocking when you see how they fared overall.
Exactly. I mean, when you lose as much as they did last year, you'll get beat by teams that aren't playoff powers for sure.
Leading up to this, and finally, he's going to get to take the court in the NBA. I mean, his mind has to be racing like a million miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, there are all different kinds of pressure situations. This is about as nerve-wracking as it gets. Even so, I don't think it takes away from how much he enjoys it.
Well, with Freak Clark, there was a question whether he would stay another year in college. Really was a tough decision for him, but he ended up coming out after his freshman year.
And, Kevin, it's really hard to blame a guy like Freak for doing that. I mean, he's clearly NBA ready, and he's putting a lot at risk for every year he stays in school, and he could be on the NBA clock.
And here we see the debut of Freak, the kid from Harlem, his first time on an NBA floor. And Clark, it's a moment that he's worked very hard to achieve, and his family has got to be proud.
Extremely so, Kevin. It's been a long journey for him, but every level along the way, he's found success. High school phenom, playing for a college championship. I wouldn't bet against this kid on anything when it comes to basketball.
For Detroit, they've gone 4 of 10 shooting the ball here in the first quarter. The drive by Jackson. He dishes it to Baines. Outside for Jackson. And that one comes up a bit short. Clark Lyles, one of the many great players to come out of Kentucky and be eligible for this draft. He didn't wow as much as his teammates. I'm telling you what, he can play.
He's got a lot of game. He's actually one of my sleepers, Kevin, because he can do everything well. He can handle it. He goes both ways. He can shoot it. He defends. Really good IQ. I like this guy as being a surprise producer as an NBA player.
Here's Freak. And the rebound paying off as they pick up 2 on the second chance bucket right there. And that's the very first basket right there, folks, of what is hopefully a very long and a very prosperous career from Freak.
Yeah, and you know, he can relax a little bit now. That first one is in the books. It won't be the biggest bucket he makes in his life, but, man, it may be the most memorable.
I think you may be right about that. No matter how many thousands of them he winds up with, he'll never forget that first one.
And, guys, with Lyles playing out of position can be a blessing and a curse. I mean, he didn't get to play in his comfort zone and put up big numbers, but his skill set grew from the minutes he had to spend outside of that comfort zone.
Rodney Hood's checked in for Gordon Hayward. Utah's gone 2 of 4 from beyond the arc to start the game. Freak with it. 32 seconds left in the first quarter.
Tell you what I like about Lyles is that he has a bit of an old man game about him. He's an old head, plays within himself, good at every small intangible thing on the court, just has a real nice feel for how to play.
Here's Jackson. Got it. And he's now 3 for 5 from the field.
Man, he's having quite the quarter, converting at a really high percentage.
Now here's Freak, guarded by Jackson. Now here's Freak. 1 second left. And a good game so far as we conclude the first quarter. Pistons. Well, earlier we we sat down with Freak and asked him about playing in his first NBA game.
You know, I've thought about this moment my entire life. Now that it's finally here, the feeling's pretty crazy. But I know it's just the beginning. I got a lot of hard work ahead of me to get to where I want to go, to be the best player and the best teammate I could be. But this is an exciting first step, no doubt.
You know, Clark, you don't see that kind of perspective for most rookies, do you?
You really don't, Kevin. I mean, I really like his approach to the game. What remains to be seen, though, is will that translate to consistent production?
So Detroit ends up going with the new group. And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter of play. And so in the game for the Jazz, Exum and Hayward filling at the 2 and the 3. Lyles out there with Booker, and it's Freak in at the 1 spot. He took good advantage of that screen. Freak's got his second basket of the game.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact that the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
Utah's gone 0-3 from beyond the arc to start the second quarter. Fans had a hard time finding their way to the stadium last season for the Pistons at the bottom in several home attendance categories last year.
Yeah, that's right in Auburn Hills.
I know.
I mean, they used to go a lot when they were winning championships. But to be fair to those fans, it was hard at times to watch the Pistons play. I mean, they could get cold and really struggle on their home floor. And the idea of setting a screen on that play was right, but just poor execution.
Yeah, it just can't be a hard screen at all costs. There is a legality to how you set a screen, so you've got to be inside of both lines, legal and hard.
The drive by Jackson, Caldwell Pope. Chance there to take the lead, missing. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break, and a wide open look for Freak. Tries again, and he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play.
He was the first one to react to that miss. Excellent anticipation on his part. A hustle play on the putback by him.
You know, there are those who wonder if Gordon Hayward can lead a team to the promised land. However, as just a sophomore, he led a non-powerhouse college to a championship game. So, in fact, they were just one basket away from winning it all.
That shot by Caldwell Pope, no good.
And with room like that off the pick, you have got to knock that one down.
Well, you know, they did everything right, Greg. They executed. All you want is a good look at the basket. Sometimes the shots just don't fall.
Freak kicks to Hayward. Clock at 6. The Jazz need to get off a shot here. Here's Freak.
Yeah, clearly he had an established position there.
Yeah, and I like this call because you want the refs in that situation. If there's any doubt, err on the side of giving the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player. That should have been a block, and it was.
As we've gotten closer to halftime, their style has become more and more physical.
Boy, it certainly appears to be the case, Greg. I mean, they've spent a lot of time at the foul line this quarter, and that's the result of attacking the rim and being physical.
Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
Outside Jackson, kicks to Caldwell Pope, lets it go with a 3. It's good, the assist this time from Jackson. Caldwell Pope's got 5 now. Going back to Hayward, he took that buzzer-beating half-court shot, Clark, that would have won his school the championship. You actually called that game, and it did hit the backboard and rim, but unfortunately did not go in.
Well, Hayward's the kind of guy who's willing to put his team on his back and try to carry him. He's willing to take that responsibility on. Whether he can deliver at the highest level, time will tell. That's a great job getting to the line here. You know, he didn't have a single attempt in that first quarter because I thought he was tentative. Much more aggressive here in the second.
And both free throws good from Freak. 26 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. Jackson kicks to Johnson. Back to Jackson. Over in the corner, Caldwell Pope. Off target from outside.
And they hold a huge advantage on the backboard.
Greg, and that's been the key to this lead. I mean, they've really dominated the glass. Kevin, he's definitely making his presence felt here in the first half. He's been very effective so far.
From deep. That misses. Would have counted had it gone in. And we've reached halftime in this one. Jazz out in front, up 8. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
Okay, that was some strong work in the first half. Let's talk about what we got to do to keep this crowd out of the game. I like the way we're driving the lane, drawing contact and getting calls. We're going to cause some foul trouble in the second half if we keep playing aggressively like that. There was a big bright spot on how many putbacks we converted. Don't lose any of that persistence on the offensive glass. The pace of the game, just to bring that up real quick, is...
And the second half about to start here in just a few moments.
Looking at the game for Hayward, he's got 17 points, and he's knocked down a pair of three-pointers in this game, too.
And maybe it's time for them to set a few more screens for him up top and let him add to that total.
And so it's Utah who scraped by with a win. This win, such a tremendous...
Drop top music. Drop top music. This is drop top music. Drop